Olsen's essay on AIDS is of interest because of its general relevance to AIDS poetry on its particular analysis of sailing to Byzantium. And what the analysis provides as a critical exemplum, Olsen is concerned with the principal part of the poem. He clearly modifies his view on the poem Sailing to Byzantium by AIDS. The modification involves his recognition that the argument is the activity of the poem, and then consequently, the character of its speaker is determined by action rather than its role in a drama. Not action, but of thought. This modification is important because of unwarranted distinction between thought and activity that has been eliminated. Olsen, before proceeding to the action of the poem, he paraphrases its content. In Sailing to Byzantium, an old man faces the problem of the old age of death and of regeneration and gives his decision. He tells that the old age excludes a man from the sensual joys of youth. The world appears to belong completely to youth. It is no place for the old. Indeed, an old man is scarcely a man at all. He is an empty artifice and effigy merely of a man, and he is like a tattered coat upon a stick. This would be very bad, except that the young also are excluded from something. Wrapped in their sensuality, they are ignorant and utterly of the world of spirit. Hence, if old age frees a man from sensual passion, he may rejoice in the liberation of the soul. He is admitted into the realm of spirit, and his rejoicing will increase according as he realizes the magnificence of the soul. Byzantium is a symbol of life and death. The name generally denotes the city of Constantinople. Byzantium is a transcendental country out of time and nature, and it is a world of art and philosophy. Byzantium is not a place upon the map, but a term in the poem, a term signifying a stage of contemplation wherein the soul studies itself and so learns both what it is and what it consists of, that is, the truth and the eternal joy. The term around which the poem is organized are a series of opposition: youth, who are sensually active but spiritually passive, and the old age, both sensually and spiritually passive. On analyzing the poem, we find in first two stanzas art is considered as inanimate and as an object of contemplation. The underlying meaning of the poem says that the soul can learn its own greatness from the great works of art. Hence, he turns to those great works, but in turning to them, he finds that these are by no means mere effigies or moments, but things which have souls also. These live in the noblest elements of God's fire, free from all corruption. Hence, the old man prays to the depths for the release of his mortal body, and since the unsoiled monuments exhibit the possibility of the soul's existence in some other matter than flesh, he wishes reincarnation, nor now in a mortal body, but in the immortal and changeless embodiment of art. The plot of the poem says that art is considered as an animate. Gods who can consume the last shred of the old man's sensuality. The poem presents the rejection of passion and the acceptance and realization that art of insouls, and it also represents the correction of the embodiment and towards the end the acceptance of the incorruptible. Olsen also points out to the additional structural values of the poem, which is both organic and geometric. Olsen says that the basic term of a lyric poem do not reveal their meanings from the chance associations of the reader. They do not conform to the dictionary meanings but take their significance from the context. Olson says that the poetry takes its association from the context through the juxtaposition to the other terms which they are equated, contrasted, correlated, or combined. Olson has also brought in some of the terms from the poem to defend his arguments. The term singing is extended beyond its usual meaning to cover two kinds of jubilation: rejoice of the natural creature and that of the artificial, as the consequences similarly intellect, and all terms associated. Byzantium is not a historical city, and no tourist or historian is to contribute with information. It is not a glance upon a map, but a term in the poem. Olson also argues that poet uses the object to fit in his poetry to convey his thought. Physical thing determinates the nature, and it is the subject to physical laws, such as Newton's law. Every poem is an independent universe with its law provided by the poet. Olson thereby concludes his argument by stating that the bare argument of sailing to Byzantium is not of the poem, but he argues that the argument in the principle of the poem. The term lyric has given an extraordinary variety of applications, and it varies with the approaches of literary criticism. The critics analyze the various aspects of poems Sailing to Byzantium and concludes that the poem is the poetics of the lyric form.